Hi, welcome to my studio. This is what I'm calling my $20,000 dream on a $1,000 budget. And by the way, I don't have a teleprompter, and I also don't have a staff to hold cue cards, but I have to read this. It is my story, but I've been told that I talk too much. So rather than be too long-winded, I thought it better to prepare everything ahead of time so I could read the story, so it won't get boring. So anyway, in order to give you the full effect of the studio, the way it appears here and the way I utilize it, I have to tell you the whole story. My mother used to tell me that she sang to me before I was even born. That's where the story begins. Some may say that's not possible. You believe what you want, and I'll believe what I want. I was born in a small town in Queens, New York, called Richmond Hill, bordering a few other towns like Jamaica, Kew Gardens, and Ozone Park. And everyone was pretty close-knit. My family was pretty religious and somewhat active in the church, helping out with social events and various functions. My father was an usher in church on Sundays and knew all the priests. He also had a musical background and played violin when he was very young. My grandmother sang in the church choir on Sundays and had a very operatic voice, beautiful voice. And she lived upstairs in our house. When I began school, she was retired by this point and no longer sang in the choir, but she had a small Emity organ that she kept on our dining room table. She would play it a lot and would sing church hymns. And from time to time, she would teach me how to play. My father was also a member of the Knights of Columbus, also big in the community with holiday parties and various functions. It was a private club that you had to go through initiation to join. I believe he was secretary or treasurer, and he also tended bar. My brother was 11 years my senior, played guitar and also a member of the Knights, and sang and played with a musical group called the Squires. He played and sang at teen dances at the hall, so he was a big influence on my music dreams. Squires being the junior members of the Knights of Columbus. Following in his footsteps, I wanted to play guitar, so my dad signed me up for lessons when I was about 9. That lasted about 8 months or so. But after the 8 months, I got frustrated because I was only playing single notes. And after seeing the Beatles on TV, I wanted to play songs. I wanted to play rock songs. My dad was behind me all the way, and so I stopped the lessons. He bought me my first electric guitar and amplifier. Both were made by Kent. That was a very big step. I had a couple of music books left over from lessons that had chord illustrations in them, and I began practicing on my own. In the summertime, when off from school, I would go shopping in Jamaica with my mother and grandmother. They would go to Macy's. I would go to a small record shop on, I think, 163rd Street and buy 45s. I had a small battery-operated record player, and I would sit in the car with the record player on the rear dash and play the new records that I bought. About halfway through 7th grade, with a few other friends from school who also enjoyed music, we formed a band. Everyone gravitated to their favorite instrument, or maybe what they felt comfortable with, and I picked up the bass guitar. Even though I was 6-string trained, I played that through most of my musical career. No one could read music So we learned to play by ear, starting and stopping, strumming notes to figure out what key to play in. It was a real effort, and it took time. Sometimes you couldn't figure out what the words were, but there was a short, maybe 30-page weekly publication that printed all the words of the popular songs. I used to go down to the main newsstand in the neighborhood and pick that up every week. It was maybe 50 cents. We weren't very good in the beginning. Through each phase of our progress, we changed our name. We began as the Falcons, got better, and we're playing deeper rock songs, more psychedelic. So we changed our name to the Fourth Invention. Ooh, real psychedelic. Finally, we developed even further, and our confidence grew, and we developed the following. We became the Rites of Mercy. We played together for about 5 years, all through high school. Then I got married, and we went our separate ways. 2 of the members joined up with another friend, Lou Cavares. More about Lou next time. He deserves to have his own episode. They played at some local clubs, and I'd go down to see them play. They'd introduce me, and I would go up and join in on a few songs. This was a practice that we maintained all through my career. That was a big thrill for me, and it was a lot of fun. Fast forward a little bit. My father passed away in 1975, caught me off guard, and it was only 4 months before my son was born in January 1976. My daughter was born in October 1979. I had a good job, and life was moving along nicely. Fast forward again, my mother passed away in August of 1991, again very suddenly, and the following year my brother became very ill and was hospitalized for several months and was under daily care. I moved out to Deer Park, Long Island, to be closer to the hospital and moved into his apartment so I could help him recover when he was eventually well enough to come home. It was during this time that my nephew Charlie and I became very close. We were always very close, but now this brought us even closer. We would go to the hospital daily to see my brother, and we would then hang out together. We began talking about music and began writing songs together. My brother had a dual cassette deck that I would record guitar on deck A and then play it back and record vocals on deck B. At first it was just fun, goofing around, and then we realized we were getting pretty good at it, and it was a lot of fun looking for something to pick up our spirits after a tough day. He knew how much I loved music and how much I missed it. So for Christmas of 1991, he surprised me with a gift certificate for 3 hours of studio time. That changed my life. He'd begun playing our songs for other employees at his company, and soon everyone was talking about our music. He knew a few friends that played, and in January of 1992, we had our first session in the studio. Charlie came up with a name, and we called ourselves Righteous Rhythm. We played together for over 4 years, not every weekend, but whenever everyone could make it, and we got really good. I recorded every session. Eventually, I created my own DIY studio in my basement, and we recorded down there. We no longer had to pay, there were no time constraints, and it was much more relaxed. More songs were created during this period, and I began writing music on my own. One of the songs that Charlie and I wrote was titled A Good Day's Comin'. It's a feel-good song and one of my all-time favorites. I updated it recently, added some video footage, and voila, I created a music video. Definitely not MTV quality, but good enough to bring out the song. The music is definitely the easiest part about creating this channel. This is a lot of work. So without further ado, here is the music video for A Good Day's Coming. Enjoy. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. More about MD Music Studio and another music video next time. I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for watching.